TMO Online Television, its associates and affiliates may not be liable for views expressed on this show. Viewer discretion advised.
But I regret that I joined this government. Banange bonna bali bulungi except me. What? Since again I'm opposition.
It's not too late. Mzee itoli mukulu nnyo. Yosobola okuvaayo n'okola kirala.
No. I'm 6 years. Ndi mpamukire ku 6 years. Njabula y'emyaka emeka. Life yange yonna lwaboga agisse ne banne. Yes, kati kanfe with my dignity and credibility ngasogeddeko.
Oyogera ne aji nadduli musajja mukulu.
Botegeere nti waliyo abatajooge.
Naye owuliranga buli kimu kyagezezzaako naye newankubadde yali nabo mu nsiko. Owuliranga
anadduli ono omwana yagendanga apuluutinga abantu. N'aleeta Kiwanda naye n'amukuba. Kiwanda naye ebikolimo ebimuliko egyo emisango gy'ayina. Ffenna nange nkeera ku makya mukolimira. Ne ngenda mu nsozi ewaffe. Nkeera mu kyaki yange. Ne mukolimira. Tajja kuva mu bizibu. Yes, we never get out of problems. Obviously God. Omwana wa muwala wa Boulevard. Has this girl featured? She bought a commerce for herself. NRM did not finance her.
I see.
NRM funds were directed to this man, another opportunist. Ani ono eyatta abayindi ne bamutwala mu Zaffe. Mbidde. Okukola ono azijagala mu mizinga gyokka tayina. Kati was the spies. Balabye empuuga ng'aliko gyali ne bamukwata. Ate bali omanya NRM balumwa nnyo. Bampuuga Museveni bawa ssente. Fenga tatuwa fe tumukolere bwere
mbuze mpuga kikyalaki nga mu kapasite
y'ebyo. What type of God who does not pay his people n'abajulizi bennyini babali kereziya bali organizing.
I see.
Whether they died but the issue was tibalwanira Christianity. Ne bampuuga be bakima ssente mu State House bani be baba mukolera mbwa.
Mbalamusizaako nnyo mwena gye musinzira okubanga mulaba TMO Online Television. Yenze Ssaalongo Kanka Kapita. Nsonga nnyingi ze tugenda okutunulamu nga sinaba kutandika ennyingi njagala okubajjukizaako nti mwenna abaagala okukola South Sudan oba South Sudan abaagala okukola Uganda ojja genda mu kampuni eyitibwa Juba Royal Travel. Mu ggwanga Uganda Juba Royal Travel esangibwa ku Park Royal Building mu kibuga wakati opposite Senana Supermarket oba oludda lw'ekyemmanga ekizimbe ekiriwo ng'oyambuka ku restaurant y'Abaguma oba opposite Watoto Church. Bakugu nnyo mu kukolera ku bisaanyizo ebikuyambako okukolera mu nsi ebbiri Uganda oba South Sudan. Abe South Sudan mujja genda Crown Hotel opposite reception mujja okubasanga oba ennamba z'amasimu. Mwabateekateeka honeymoon Juba Royal Travel ye kampuni yokka mu Uganda ekuteekerateekera honeymoon n'osobola okubanga osiima nga tolina kyokoze n'ekimu. Ate balina ebintu ebiri special bingi mwe muli okuprocessingira ku biwandiiko by'okutambula era nzigira mwewe n'abalina amakampuni agatwala abantu eweeru. Juba Royal Travel ekkolera ku travel document processing ebyentambula byonna ebikolako Ssaako n'okuguza air ticket nga bwe businga okuba obukugu bwabwe. Bw'atannazimba oba ateekateeka okuzimba oba ali mu kuddaabiriza nga ennaku zino z'ogenda okumala mu Uganda oba gwali mu Uganda ennaku z'ogenda okumala mu luwummula weekwate kampuni y'abasikawutu abazimbi abeesimbu abakulirwa Nkooyooyo Elisa Kiwana. Kampuni eno eyitibwa Stone Roofing and Construction Company. Teri service gyetalina eyazimba ennyumba nga tewaba wa mulimu wabula nga weetaaga kugiggala. Bayina workshop esinga okukola enzigi eziggala amayumba be bazimbi bazikola ne bazikuteerayo. Nkooyooyo Elisa Kiwana ne kampuni ya Stone Roofing balina teknologiya nga gwatali wano bw'obanga baba wa site okugizimba bakuteerawo kamera eno wonna wooli mu kitundu ky'ensi yonna oba oli bweru mitala w'amayanja oba oli wano osobola obutava ku mirimu gyo n'osinzira mu woofiisi yo ne bakuwa logins oba obunamba bw'onyiga mu kompyuta yo oba mu simu yo n'olabanga butereevu ki ekigwa ku site yo okwewala obulimba n'okutereeza omulimu ogw'obuzimbi. Mzee wasuzo otya Ssebo?
Wetuli.
Ssebo.
Webale kutugabula.
Mazima.
Webale kutuyita nalaba ku mukwano gwange Nadduli. Naye Nadduli yayogera story. Very saddening. He's a bitter man.
Mazima.
Yagamba mu nsoko yali dokita waayo. n'alunda n'akuyenga eddagala lye ng'abakuba empiso kati ate bakulumiza bannambatya oyo yennyini naddu ne batebalumwadde ekifo kyonna ne badevelopinga habuzi ze
ezabawunya mu nsiko kituufu
naye kakati nadduli ye yali talingira ku bwa lefunanti mukyala Njuba yayogera sitole olumu nga yeewunyisa naga nti baali balina gye bajja emumondo ne kyaligonza amanyi oluluwo batuuka ku road block bababuuza munabeba nini nti sira mukyoli n'aseka ukana not men be carrying a gun mukyala Njuba yawumulya ku bwa kaputeni in fact I don't know whether mukyala Njuba yabaddeyo ekyankwanzi kubanga eyo gurupu eyali badde eweebwa ssente akasiimo the revolution is coming to an end generation yaabwe eya Museveni abamanyi bwenaatuuka ku endi ani alibawa
mazima
ate bwali kitutte mu palamenti noga nti abantu abo bonna abalwana mu lutalo abali ku leve eyo baweebwe biliyoni 5 ng'akasente Ugandans can accept balabye abatayina kusasira najja n'afuna billions fulufiga najja n'afuna billions gundi najja oyo simanyi Buchaman meka why do you punish us tubakoledde olwokuba ffe tubakoledde ffe tetujja kusasulwa
olaba wako ne bad black sente
ya miliyoni 6 embwa yaabwe ne bakanyuka kasasi we are very bitter people aiso nadulize bitter man omuzimu gujja balulube toyinza kujoga bantu ba contributings ne babulira nti gundi azina gundi yayodde no
naye kyanewunyisa muzeeyi nti mumwagano gene kyankwanzi
why do I go to Kyankwanzi to join kusasira if I go to Kyankwanzi and I join Oyesimanyi Buchaman then I have passed no confidence in my university education ate to me zinakitegeera abo abaana bali bapanze tingende ekyakwanzi boogere nange kubanga tebalina strategic management bungende ekyakwanzi nanyini buyinza njoge yansange yanfundirize sisobola kwogera n'abaana abo why kasoyogera nabo nga balikinga information Mirundi apologizes to our work Mirundi apologizes to Franka tumwebaza nga bakubanga embwa zaabwe zikuba Amawulire nga zikuba I cannot meet them. In fact they have a wrong strategy nti balowooza president yawayo biliyoni 3 oyo lwabogo nazikwata this man must come and kneel before me to kneel before you. Who are you? You have suffocated me for the last 8 years. I'm approaching 9.
And you are still here. And you are still here.
Have you sold your cows or this is government money? Is it proceeds from your cows or after sending government or by is it government money? Kati dangling that money will not help.
I see.
In fact, for me, my advice is a cent was taken to a better purpose. Because if this money is conditional, that to get it, I have to talk to Luabo. I will never talk to him. So they better put the money somewhere else. If it is compensation, it must be unconditional compensation. I got the strategies I will be. In fact, the purpose of my meeting today is to teach these people how we do strategic management in politics.
I see.
How we apply strategic management in politics. I've fought with a formidable group. By the time in 2014, it was a fellowship. 4 years before in Uganda, except Museveni and Muhozi. Kati wo nabaduka n'obusuma. N'obusuma bwabwe n'obujozi mbakubya omusajja omu. One man is the army. Why? Nabalana b'emyaka 18 mbategeera. Once you are transferred to a peripheral job, 5 billion never togendayo. Neta bwe bakujuga tugenda mu kifo ekyo ndakibalikiri kibawunyiri. Obujozi bwe bawunyiri. Kubanga bwe bakuwa ekifo balinga basajja b'obote. Abasajja b'obote bwe bamala ng'okwata abakazi nga babawa ennusu. When they humiliate you, give you a peripheral job. Era okomewo bakolere. The strategy bampadde toli kibampadde. Kakati sibigenda.
Njagala kubuuza mzee. What is the role of a presidential advisor? Nga Museveni ate yabayita okubasinkana ekyankwanzi oba mulabadde
kumwamba oshinga abawe ssente kyekyokubi Museveni is strategic. What if Amelia Chambade joined the NOP would be in parliament? Yes.
She would be.
Kubanga they failed because they stuck at Museveni.
Yes.
Ono minister Miyingo would go through with 90%.
Yes.
Abantu beewabwe bamugamba va ku Museveni. Nabaga nti banne sinza kumuvaako n'ebintu byembaleetera bijja wa mukama wange.
Kituufu.
He could go. Bobanigira kitinga they can form their own party. Bobalowooza ono omulenzi alowooza tulimbwa azunza buzunza n'atujja mu kiraalo kye n'alondamu gy'anaatunda n'alondamu gy'anaakola yatya. How can a man from Zana defeat me? Kale Ssabo. After Nachobe and Kadaga are giving him money. The professor told him, even if they are giving this man money, it's because you have suffocated his income. To come on, if I talk to you, after influencing the humiliation of Nachobe and Kadaga, then your strategy will be working. Sijira dala.
I see.
By the time I stayed in Zana, you had no house.
I see.
This is privileged wealth. Kakati, your strategy M7, it worked perfectly. Yabashualinga. To have a future, which means they cannot form a party, they cannot join the opposition.
Yes.
Nzichembamba gamba. Sisobola kusonyiwa wamwenda, tumwebaza, nakalema, lwabwogo, nalweyiso, kabushenga, kulubya. Sobola basonyi, nakalema. No. They killed my political figure.
I see.
Yes. But I regret they die joined this government. Banange bon nabali bulungi except me. What? Since again I'm opposition.
It's not too late. Mzee itoli mukulu nnyo. Yosobola okuvaayo n'okola kirala.
No. I'm 60 years. Ndimpa mukere ku 60 years. Njabula emyaka emeka. Life yange yonna lwaboga agisse ne banne. Yes, kati kanfe with my dignity and credibility ngasokeddeko na.
Oyogera ne aji nadduli musajja mukulu.
Botegeere nti wali abatajogerwa.
Naye owuliranga buli kimu kyagezezzaako naye newankubadde yali nabo mu nsiko. Owuliranga. Anadduli
ono omwana yagendanga apuluutinga abantu. N'aleeta kiwanda naye n'amukuba. Kiwanda naye amu ebikolimo ebimuliko egyo emisango gy'ayina. Ffenna nange nkeera ku makya mukolimira. Ne ngenda mu nsozi ewaffe. Nkeera mu kyaki yange. Ne mukolimira. Tajja kuva mu bizibu. Yes, we never get out of problems. Everybody curses you. Fa Abaganda tutya amalusu n'amaziga. Nagana akawala kakanyomozi kayimba. N'amaziga agakulukuta siridda siri kuddamu no nedda. Situlidda mbalenzi wano. Tetuli baddamu. We lost. At 60 mbula y'emyaka emeka. 20. Nsobola okugibeeramu naye nga sogedde na lwaboogo na banne. Let them face their cases by no options. One, they are even nabalabi nga balina gye balaze. They have hired a new team. Kabalina Kalugiri. Bagenze bo babagireyo sente. Embwa yembwa ina kumala kufukamira. Ejje ezo sente. Take your money away. I will not come. Even if you dang $100 million, I will not come to pick it to save these boys.
I see.
Let them wait for solutions. Become fugitives in Uganda, nalabyeyo. Tumwebaze nga bamuguliriringa. ICC nasaba n'ennaku addeyo. Addayo nga saadi. Singa mukubane mukuba kulipo taddukoyo.
Mazima.
Taddukoyo abantu bamukuba omutwe ne bagwasa. Aliddayo kufuna political future.
Olaba Nejjo muzeeyi American Embassy bwe yadde eyogera. Kuba na Uganda bagambye bajje naabo n'abantu abali mu gavumenti. Gavumenti ya America ebawochinga. Closely. Tubalabe konga badduka bakandifo nga ne famu tewali. That's the best punishment. Humiliate these people, baruzinge buli kebayina. Generation abana baabwe tebaliddamu kujoga abantu. But you cannot give them a 50-50. To talk to them, I will be giving them 50-50. I cannot talk to them. I see.
Let them away two options. One, to become fugitives in Uganda. Two, to spend 28 years in European jails. Or to be hunted down like the Nazis, the former Nazis.
I see.
Obujozi bw'omulenzi oyo ne banne bwebagweremu ddala. This is not, I cannot give you a 50-50. Kirumi nawe bali kutola nsangayo. It's a question of time of arrival.
But people say you are bitter with these boys. Why don't you become bitter to Museveni, who houses these boys?
No.
Goboita boys.
Museveni bulwa
oli bitter gye bali. Naye bitterness ye ku Museveni tojirina.
Entwe ye pusi yaleeta tape Nakalema n'atuula wali. Akabakedde kamukuba mumbu wa 10 embwa obubwa. Embwa Nakalema will be arrested. Why? Nakalema is part of this group. Her role was to attack companies that were taking these people, but bobo kabasigale tumwebaze n'atwala entwe nekatwala entwe yaako mu genda katuleko bujulizi. It has exploded.
I see.
Ejjoogo lyonna lirina okuggwa mu bulenzi buno. The person who can reconcile with me, with the Rwaboga and the group, is the person who can reconcile Satan with God.
Hey.
Yes.
So that is impossible.
If you get an expert who can reconcile God with the Satan, and they meet again in heaven, is the expert who is needed to reconcile me with the Rwaboga and his group.
I see.
Let him kill me. I've suffered for 8 years. Family yange suffered. They are dangling 3 billion. Ngende chechimuva akanyigirize banyonera business zange. As I look at the dangled money, I will never touch that money. If it's conditional money, take it away.
I see.
Put it to more important purposes. I've lost 10 years. Am I going to recover what I lost in 10 years?
No.
I'm remaining with the between the 10, 20 and 15.
Yes.
85. If I clock 85, then it's 20 years from now. It is me watch the keenly the changes.
I see.
Oba wali bawo government. Eri bukirizwa okutujja ogw'obusajja buno. Ne bukuba amawulire ne bukonoona. Mawulire siya kakuba amawulire okukabukidde ntusinkana mu lifuti omwattirawo munne. Kakuba ne kagamba. Tamale Mirundi nga Nakalema yakagamba. Museveni ayise nnyina bamukebera omutwe. Me, after delivering committed service to you, is it when you realize that I'm mad? I'm mad now. Nakalema kawuba empali. Balikateeka mu gundi. Kazi ako keetaaga kuteeka mu ebutabika mu balalu ne babawenjaga ne walagi. Ne bakasiba ne bakasulamu ne bakaggaliramu. Ejjoogo lyako lyonna lekajoze ku bantu ono yakakozesa. Bakakuba abantu bekabajjawo batwala ebifo byabwe. Ewali ssente bakakozesa nakana kajokolasiza obuto bali busala n'ejjirita. I'm a very bitter man and every day increase my bitterness.
I see.
Nentunulira obutabo ngenda bukulaga obulabe. Nakuba obutabo miliyoni zange 7 naziwamba. Balance eri nenkuba obutabo ngende ku kakiiko ke anteke mwanda we yayenga olugosi. I'm playing sick and hide. Am I a village girl? Kakati totuuse wootuuka tayo omuntu omuba ku bbe mulenzi gw'obujozi obuba bukuggyemu. For you were lucky. Bagenda muwasente agule ba lawyers kalugire bamusasula mbuze badango linga zino ngende nga njavula. No, take that money away. If it is conditional money, the son of Mirundi will never come to look for it. I've suffered. Wemba ndiya mukene gwendia. Namulya dda emyaka 8 egiise.
Njagala kubuuza buzeeyi ku gundi olowooza ensonga waliwo oluyimba Bobi Wine lwakubidde Museveni ng'agamba nti yabba entebe enzibe. Simanye entebe ya Museveni enzibe baluyita ogenda luleesewo controversy mu ggwanga.
No, you see,
Bobi Wine alumiriza.
let me tell you, kyembadde nkugamba nti strategic management. In the 60s, the colonialists used the force against Buganda. But Buganda was more prepared for violence. Buganda survives on their Kabaka ideology and violence. They designed Buganda as an anti-hero with the Queen Mother, termites, and whoever invades Buganda is a Nabe. Nabe is an insect which enters an anti-hero, forcing them either to die or to desert the anti-hero. The moment they describe you as Nabe, every Muganda is a rallying cry to Baganda that this is a Nabe. And they have used it on every leader. You start with the honeymoon, you end up with the Nabe. Obote was Bwete. Bwete is a name named by members of the Langa fish clan. A mamba. Okero Olalo Okero was Sekalala. Binayisa they hated became Binayisa, son of Aisa. That is his mother. His father was not known. Whereas Binayisa's father was a canon in the Anglican Church, a well-known canon in the Anglican Church. But once the Baganda hated him, he became Binayisa. At one time, when the former Deputy Chief Justice Kavuma took over from Njuba, the constitutional making process, Njuba was removed from that ministry, which had headed since 1986. Because NRM came in 1986 with Njuba as an assignment minister for constitutional affairs. Because the NRM was strong pledged to produce a new constitution for the country. And they suspended some of the parts in the 1967 they used to call draconian constitution, linked to Obote. Kavuma became Kavuma now. The moment Kavuma stood up with his ground and the Constituent Assembly denied the Buganda its selfish demands, Kavuma became Kavumana, a Munyarwanda. So this is their strategy. Even Museveni are not to be surprised. Museveni, who belongs to the Cow clan, the Ente clan.
We saw him going to Buganda,
and they even Museveni
the clan
is a member of the Mengolo Chief. Yes,
I saw him.
Yes, at his
long time
peak,
in the videos.
At his peak, even Museveni was coming from a session of Luchiko when he survived an accident at Kiseka Market. Yes, Ngayamba de Biamba de Luchiko of Buganda. Never won a kanzu. Never get a no Mutaka Katongole, the head of the Cow clan. To go and plant a Bakakuro tree, Omutuba, Museveni wa Mutuba, to Nasigaza, to Lunyiriri, to Nasigaza, to Mutuba. Museveni was elevated as one of the Buganda elders, and he attended a session where he was recognized as a member of the Luchiko, the Muganda.
What happened?
Once they follow you, once you disagree with them, because they give you, I think that's what universities should do. Once they award you a honorary degree in recognition of what you have done. They did it in Malawi. When Wamutalika started the anti-democratic credential policies, some universities started withdrawing their recognition to him. This man in Ethiopia got a Nobel Prize for peace. When the man stood up and said there are rebels who must be defeated, and he went on the mobilized people and he went on the front line, then these Americans were now saying, this is the man we recognize. Obama was also given recognized for peace, but he was disarmed because he never deployed the troops. He was withdrawing and negotiation because the man, they capture you. That's why I don't go to church. I'm not a model of anything. The moment you become the head of the bafumbo, of the married couples, then you will tolerate all the humiliation from your wife.
Yes.
Because you are Neganti Banavasajja by strategy. And this is the strategy of the opposition. Look, in 1962, I was talking about the British because my topic now is to tell you and your followers, your large followers, how we use, how the successful governments, successive governments in Uganda have been defeated by Mengo.
I see.
Using strategic management. They get you, adapt to you, control you until the time when they discard you.
I see.
Kakati, Abangereza, bagezako kukoleza force. On 8 October 1960, Buganda declared its independence after failing to get concessions from the British. At that time, the British took a strong stance on Buganda. The governor disregarded the Lukiiko resolution and deployed the troops in Kampala to ensure that the resolution was not implemented. A committee composed of Godfrey Birayis as chairman, Mpanga, who was the Attorney General of Uganda, Masembe Kabali, William Kalema, was set up and was given £300,000 to go to Europe to open up what would have been Buganda's embassies abroad. They even made, the Lukiiko made a declaration of Uganda independence. People believed that the British were tough. But the same British created the Masters Commission, the Constitutional Commission. When it went to meet Mutesa, Mutesa said, I'm meeting you as a president, a Kabaka of an independent Buganda. What transpired in Lancaster favored Buganda. The British decided to eat their pie. Why? The Baganda used their usual weapon, their traditional weapon of intimidation and violation. Those who had opposed Buganda's independence, like the M.i.S.os, became victims, and eventually they joined the UPC for their safety.
Once you oppose them, you become a non-Muganda.
Obata said, this is money, public money, the 300,000. It must be vomited. Obata was also captured by Mengo. He went to Bamunanika and narrated before the Kabaka to get power, to get the alliance. So Buganda wins again. Buganda wins by use of violence. Obata was named Wete, as I've said. Museveni. It belongs to everybody. They adapt to you at a time. Even Amini. Amini, the Baganda said Amini resembled the late King Daudi Chwa, that he must have been sired by Daudi Chwa on his hunting expeditions. After hearing this nonsense, Amini named some of his children Chirangira names, royal names, Mwanga, Mutebi, and others. But in the moment, these people extended their demands. Amini was commanding the attack on Lubiri.
But you say,
Amini's jeep, which was mounted by a small piece of artillery, demolished it to Ekobe, the Kabaka's palace, in 1966. But Amini became a hero. Amini Dada, until Amini fell out of them. There was a meeting in the International Conference Center, I think it was 1973.
Now that is Serena now.
One of those who spoke on behalf of Uganda reminded Amin, tosobola kufuga Uganda nga kabaka taliwo. The man was called the Swaibu Nsoboga, a Muslim. When Amin stood up to respond, he said, Swaibu, oyogedde kigambo mubi. You have spoken and spoken. A taboo that I cannot rule Uganda without a king. Kigambo ontu yenna awulidde, mujasi yenna awulidde. Oyogedde kigambo mubi. His body was found in Namamve. This was the fallout between, and he sacked up Mayanja. All of ministers that had come out of Kajanja to join his government, thinking that they would do blackmail him to restore, and he directed Mutebi. Kabaka Mutebi was here. Go back to Britain. You will never be a king. If you want to be a king, join the army. When Mutebi visited UBC, Radio Uganda, he found a man there called Boji. Boji prostrated before the king, before Mutebi, and declared him a king before the staff of Uganda, of Radio Uganda. The following day, his body was found in Namamve. I mean, it toughened on them, and they disappeared like a gonorrhea.
I see.
Until Rule came and they jumped on him. Rule said, Chemaya got his embassy, that what we are looking for to cut down with an axe, then a storm as a fairy did. The Tanzanians, who are not used to vernacular, because everybody speaks in Swahili, they perturbed a president, a newly sworn in president, to have time to speak in his local language. This was the problem of Lule. Museveni wanted the Sebunya Robert, Samuel Sabagereka, Sebunya, there was also another man. Mumufudde Lule wamwe, Lule has gone. That was Museveni. Mumaze mufula Lule wamwe, Abaganda, Lule has gone. This is why when Lule was removed, Museveni was not around. So they banked their hopes on Museveni. When Museveni came, he proposed Bina years. Because Lule had been captured by Uganda. Kakati nkubuuza wait.
Is Bobby Wine intimidating?
Nenkugamba. Tikakati bano netujja mu 80. In 1980, I've been repeatedly saying that whatever happened in 1980 was repeated in the recent general election, except one. In 1980, the whole of West Nile was declared under emergency, and therefore the people of West Nile could not vote. Why? Chikosi Maalum, belonging to UPC, had invaded West Nile for a revenge mission. Because Amin was a Kkwo, so they wanted to revenge. Amin at one time went to Acholi and said, I'm going to bring men from West Nile, marry your wives and girls, and produce a new tribe. And the killing of Lumu was also blamed on a document that was written by Amin's minister without Amin's knowledge, a Muslim, that obetes Okukola to Acholis and Langes. The Acholis and Langes suffered a lot. In fact, Amin started by killing Langes and Acholis. An eyewitness told me that they rounded up Acholi and Langi soldiers, took them to State House, we call it
Nile Mansion.
No, it was called what? Bureau Nakasero. What is
State
now
research.
being used? State Research Bureau.
State research.
It would have been a museum, but it is being used by M.i.S.O, which means the purpose of which Idi Amin constructed it is continuing. It has tunnels, it has darknesses, it can determine whether it is raining, is a complicated thing. It would have been turned to the Minister of Tourism. People would be going there. But I think M.i.S.O has also found a purpose for it. That's why it has never been discarded or surrendered to the Minister of Museum. Now, an eyewitness told me that they rounded up 20 Acholis and Langes. There were 20. I don't know the numbers of each tribe. A soldier came with a machine gun, read their names, Afende, 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 until he reached 20. He emptied his machine gun, after which he also called the names. There was no answer. All of them were killed. I mean, it started by killing Langis and Acholis. So this is why. But other people were celebrating. The only person who detected the Amin was Museveni. This is why Museveni states in his book, he disagreed with the people like Ndabudere, Bidandisari and others. And he fled to Tanzania.
And he even disagreed with Ben Chiwanuka after Ben Chiwanuka became Chief Justice of Idi Amin.
No, but you see, for me, I don't blame Ben Chiwanuka. Why? Ben Chiwanuka had been imprisoned by Obate under very bad conditions. Had no bed, they could mix his kawunga with sand or stones. So he saw Amin as a liberator.
I see.
And Amin had said that after 2 years, me, I'm a professional soldier. After 2 years, I'm going to surrender power to the civilians. This is why Amin was brought by the British and the Israelis. And the British Prime Minister in Singapore, at the Commonwealth Conference in Singapore, bragged. Some of the people who are making nice speeches here will never find their way back home. He was talking about Obote. That the British were in charge of Amin. Amin was hosted by Queen Victoria.
Yes.
Elizabeth. At Birmingham Palace. The first person to host Idi Amin was the Queen. So I cannot blame. If Amin took advantage, took a right for the British, and experienced British to control the empires with the researchers, with the M16, they could not detect Amin, the real intentions of Amin. The Israelis. I remember I told you that I recited the poem for Idi Amin when I was in the senior city, when I was in the P3, which is stuck in my head. I recited the poem, and I shook hands with Idi Amin, and I became a village celebrity.
But all of you did not detect him.
The pilot,
not like him.
Amin's pilot at that time was an Israeli called Kano Kafieri. I used to confuse it with Kafero. My younger brother who died was Kafero. So this Kano Kafieri was an Israeli. I cannot blame Beni Chiwanuka because Beni Chiwanuka had been
humiliated by
Idi Amin, by Obote. So whoever came out released by Idi Amin. That's why this man composed a song which sounds in the same way like this Bobo song. Abanyarwanda n'abarundi bagobwanga ebyo byonna Idi Amin yabijjudde. Abanyarwanda n'abayindi bagobwanga ebyo byonna Idi Amin yabijje mu nsi. Okumanya Idi Amin atulokodde muntu okumusiba nga towozezza yabigaana. Amin started by releasing prisoners. Obote started by releasing Inaisha, whom the military commission after taking over, Paulo Muanga, put Inaisha inside the state house.
I see. So
the first person, Obote, remembering the history of Inaisha wrote the constitution of 66 and 67 alone.
Are you serious?
He drafted it. What is contained in the constitution? Constitution may have the same articles, bills of rights, whether it is written by one man, whether it takes 100 years to write, whether it is written in golden letters, it remains a piece of paper.
Yes.
Our constitution took 9 years, like a pregnancy, to write. A constitutional square was named after it. How many times have we amended it?
So many times.
In less than 20 years, I know. The American Constitution was amended 10 times in 10 years to include human rights provisions. So,
but here it is amended in
if our Constitution was a new dress, how many Biraka have gone into it? And by the time we complete 30 years, that's why when you compare it to the 67 Constitution, the Constitution, the 1967 Constitution is the longest from 67 to 95.
I see.
But this one, and I don't know whether it suffered any amendments. Kakati yenkubulia chiri chimu. Nti strategy management. We have now reached 1980. In 1980, whatever has been done, whatever was
during
done
the previous election,
in 1980 elections has been done.
Abducting people in drones. No. Is it part of what you're saying?
That is the internal wrangles. The Westerners, the only weapon they know is malice.
Then what are you talking about? I can
tell you Westerner who is fighting an enemy, and I can a political enemy, and I can tell you Muganda, all M.I.S.O, all the Newsana. Baganda will curse you like me. Every day I curse this Kabulu. Every day I even go to the mountains and I burn Akasana to punish these people to invoke my God. I see. Obujulizi kabuwera ku Zoom. Nyinza okukakuba recording zaako nenkakubeni kadduka bakawadde up to third kaddeyo n'entwe yako n'entwe kaddeyo kekukumi katteka kyalabika n'amawulire riding like gonorrhea inside some a woman is belly. Kakati nkugamba till 1980 what happened? 1980 the whole of West Nile was cut off because the UPC did not expect the votes. The Umbachi massacre, they found the people in the church like in Rwanda, killed them. Children were put in the mortars, Mubinu, Nebaba Sekula, Kikosi Maroon.
I see.
Yes, that's why West Nile has been a problem to Museveni. even after, because Museveni was a part of the government at that time. I hear that to solve the problem, it was decided to deploy there for NASA soldiers who were short-lived because they were all rounded up and taken for the training. UPC after 1980 nominated UPC representative for West Nile. Second point was that the Electoral Commission, I talk about it in my final submission. So, gerrymandering, Apache East, Apache West, or better gerrymandered the country. Gerrymandering means that you cut constituencies where you have support.
Yes.
So the whole of Busoga had 11 constituencies. When you add Buganda and Busoga and the rest, this man had calculated. They had 54 constituencies. But Obote knew there was no law of grasshopping against grasshopping, crossings. Obote knew that many people who joined the Democratic Party were UPCs. Actually, in 1980, I asked Kawanga, the younger brother of Zimogerere, why have we given our party card to UPCs in Busoga? The man told me, because nobody defects from a ruling party. I asked him, what if we don't win? So this explains why, immediately after the elections, all of these people went back.
I see.
There was a man called Bigombe. I don't know whether he is the wife, the husband of Bigombe.
Betty.
Yes. He told a meeting of the Democratic Party, I'm not used to the opposition. I thought he would win. He resigned, creating a by-election there. And Obote appointed him ambassador somewhere. So, gerrymandering, there was an inter-party committee which had nothing to do. Like none of its resolutions
was implemented.
It was implemented because it was illegal. iPod, what has iPod done?
Is this the same thing we are seeing with iPod?
Yes. You see what it is? On the F of
those are
19.
structures of Museveni to lie around this country's democracy.
It is in the constitution.
He joins the iPod
in the constitution.
Why doesn't his government put in place?
It was brought there by lawyers. The lawyers believe they are idealists. The lawyers believe that because this, when Museveni meets Bobby Wine and Besigye over a cup of tea, it will their example will percolate and people work together. No. In a society which lacks political ideology, because our political parties lack ideology, which ideology do we have? The NRM talks about Pan-Africanism. We are not capitalists, we neither side. So the only ideology of NRM.
Ayotafire calling himself a Pan-Africanist.
Pan-Africanism. Kakati kitegeeza, the DPs cannot so call themselves Pan-Africanists. So the problem is that the idealists, in absence of an opposition in waiting, in absence the illiterate, the peasants, when they see Museveni sharing a cup of tea, coffee with Bobby Wine, Bobby Wine will be now become a pariah to his supporters. Museveni has bought to you.
Yes.
You circulate a rumor.
That's what they normally say.
Yes. This is the reason why Mpuga and Mao are engaged in a bitter exchange on social media. Why? The spies of Bobby Wine, the spies of Mao, supported Mpuga somewhere. That's a money maker. Mpuga can do anything because originated from Mengo. Mpuga is a money maker. I don't respect Mpuga at all. When it comes to politics, I can talk to a madman, but I cannot talk to Mpuga.
Are you serious?
Mpuga was caught with a woman in a lodge, red-handed, and he blamed Museveni. Omusajja jatuta tumaliwo. Omusajja yabata yakusindika kumuko omusajja. Mpuga is completely useless. Me, I don't respect Mpuga at all. And I've lost trust in Mwanga Chivumbi. I used to respect Mwanga Chivumbi. I respect Bobby Wine more than these two people. I respect Nganda than these two people. I respect Zake more than I respect. I have no respect at all. How come that Impuga survived Nalole to Anamacha, a novice girl, Omana wa Boulevard? Has this woman, has this girl featured? She bought a commerce for herself. NRM did not finance her. NRM funds were directed to this man, another opportunist. Ani, ono, yataba yindi, nebamutwala mu East Africa. Mbidde. Okawola ono azijagala mu mizinga gyokka tayina. Kati bawozi spies. Nemze. Balabye Empuuga nga aliko gyali ne bamukwata. Ate bali omanya NRM balumwa nnyo. Bampuuga Museveni bawa sente. Fenga tatuwa tumukolere bwere what type of God who does not pay his people n'abajulizi bennyini baba likekerezia bali organizing whether they died but the issue was tibalwanira Christianity Mpuuga be bakima sente mu State House bani be baba mukolera mbwa Yeah, Mpuuga kwatagana because you have security, you have a government vehicle. I recently returned it. When a motor was in my compound, how many vehicles are here? And others have gone for transport. And Babalo's anti motoka chama. No. Akatute, akajemu amafuta. Oyo mulenzi, jewa amafuta. Obyena choba, obyana. Opposition. Kulozo lusoma ishirayi. Dalu mulenzi gwe bakusole dalu Ssabo Lyange lyoche nti onzitira income dalu eryo likugwemu obujozi bwoyina bukugwemu kakati nkugamba lwaki abo opposition balonda Mpuuga kubanga yakulira opposition era bano bagundi oyo temuli oyo denge izi holo izi ngalabi holo Mpuuga izi holo ngalabi bamu kituli holo uyo nema yikati wali njawulo the same group bali ba sente come from Masaka opportunists political opportunists tani court I see kakati nkugamba nti what must be the difference if whatever happened in 1980 has resurfaced Muwanga took over from the Electoral Commission. Why? The Electoral Commission was timid. It failed to protect as a deputy claimed victory. Some constituencies were still voting, and two groups had emerged. One at UPC headquarters to find out whether it was true. Another had emerged at the deputy headquarters. Muwanga feared the confrontation and he grabbed the power, but Muwanga misused his powers. Why? He even tampered with the actual results. For instance, some Okwenje had considered the defeat in Busia and struck his victor hands in public. I see. Considered the defeat. 3 days later, he was declared the winner. I see. Mugwisa had been decidedly trounced. He got only 300 votes. But Muwanga declared him. Why? The moment the declaring of election moved from the Electoral Commission to Muwanga. Muwanga faced the pressure. The same pressure Museveni faces for all of this is government jobs, even those who have eaten, they are like a ticks. It's a for one, buli wamu balina okubeera wone matoka babalabe ne yusi naki baba ina tebasobola kwekolera. This is why omwana abajoze nnyo nakujja wano nakutwala wano nakusibanga embuze watali muddo nakujja wencha n'okomawo n'okola. Go back. I see. You have my Rishirain. Yes, I go there once in a week, and I make my money enough to educate my children. I see. Omulenzi ono tajja kunfugako na bunne. Tali nfugako na bunne. Katonda ali nnamula. Katonda ndimugamba nti I was forced by this young man to practice witchcraft. I see. Na yenga ye tanjozeeko. Kakati nkubulya ne gamba. Kali bine bya Bobi Wine predictinga. What? No. And I'm telling you. What I'm telling you, where the NRM has lost, there is now a new political atmosphere. We are moving in a global village. This is a new dispensation of human rights, sanctions, and sanctions are helping the opposition. Why? The opposition is applying deception, which the NRM don't understand. This is what the Israelis have learned, that after humiliating the Arabs for many years, the Arabs resorted to terrorism, saying, how are we going to be victorious on this powerful Israeli army supported by America? So these people say, how can you squeeze tears from the Israeli government? They resorted to terrorism.
I see.
Let us create suicide bombers. N'abayisirayiri bakaabeko. Kakati bano abaana kye bakoze Museveni. Nti the sanctions have taken a very big effect on the political elite. Because what they don't know, buno bujozo bubi obwava mu primitive family. How can tumwebaze have an estate in Kenya, an estate in the Philippines, an estate everywhere? You are Kajiji, you know chi. Yes, relative wound. Kakati nkubuza ni nkugamba. What these people don't know is that by buying properties and investing in America and Europe, you have recruited yourself as a citizen of America, who must abide by American rules.
Yes.
I don't have property in America. I don't have properties. I've never visited the American embassy. I surrendered my passport to these people. Ejjogo lyabwe zibagweremu ddala nti saagala kutambula. Kubanga omulenzi oyo buli kimu kyonna yakikolanga. Ajja ekyankwanzi nga waliyo literate. I am not lacking money to eat. Era saalinnyeeyo. Motoka bwagijjawo nenjibaddiza. Ne bw'ojjawo security. Era sijjaayo. Siri bamiitinga kuba. Obulenzi buno singi. Ne bwe ntegeera nti Museveni ampise. Agenda ya kumiitinga bulenzi buno. Sigendayo. Ne sente ze baateekawo. Dangling the money. Bazikozesa ebirala. Siriyogera na bulenzi buno. Sijja kwogera nabo. Bunjoze emyaka 8 have lost. Have nothing to protect it. Can you sweep a human being twice? No. They swooped me. I'm naked. I've been naked for 8 years. What am I fighting for? To cover myself? I see. Why should I cover myself when a whole village has seen my nakedness? Nebujoga nebukuba mubule nebukuba nzinda buli ntwe tulichinka na kurubia oba mukuboba muri futi lifuti yabo mitingo omulamba nkiraba muninda compensation yo kane condition compensation siza kwogera nabo njagala kubuza kakati nkugamba wait nti sanctions ziri effective. Members of the Electoral Commission are part of the elite, the elites, who want to travel to America and Europe, who receive treatment in medical treatment abroad. They have their children abroad, so they fear sanctions. This is how the Americans have managed to reform. I see. Yes. The situation. Americans are reforming Museveni's government. I see. Without undermining Museveni's political base. Kandiko yalagira ne bakuba omwana wa. Ne mugamba gwe kandiko. Ejjogo nja kuli kumalamu. Ne batuma kaki mbwandeetere sente. Was my son on sale? Omukube ngabone bwe bugamba mbu bampe sente. Mwe mwazijjawo. Have you sold your cows? Here it must be an conditional money. I see. You killed my businesses as a strategy. Sijja kwogera naawe. Kubanga wagoba kadaga n'ogoba ne nakyobe nti bampa sente to suffocate him. When I talk to you, then you will believe that your strategy had worked. Sijja kujira ddala yongera onjavuwaze ogale ne Ssabo Lyange bakusuula eddala umulere ejjogo likugwe mutwe obujozi obwo bwojoga abantu ojoze nnyo abantu buli bujozi butuuka we bukoma mazima kakati that's one kakati but bamaze okuleeta sanctions but the sanctions don't apply to opposition. Yes, because in Africa when you go to the police when you are a man and you go to the police and report a rape case, do you think that the police will believe that a man can be raped? I don't think so. Yes. Likewise, the Americans cannot understand that a woman can butt a man in a marriage. Yes. You talk about domestic violence. Many men are suffering under their wives. Yes. There was a good example in my village. A small man married a very huge woman. The woman used to step on this man. And the man used to say, remove this huge woman on my stomach before he punish her. But a man does not even report to the police that a woman has raped me or a woman is battering me. In Kenya, Kikuyu women batter their wives. They say, the moment you fail to feed the family, you become a kid. Since I'm feeding you, I treat you like a kid.
I see.
Yes, many Kikuyu men are suffering under Kikuyu women, especially the peasants. They reach high deeds. When your wife bites you, you put a bandage there.
Yes.
It is normal.
You don't say.
Kakati, abazungu bo tebamanyi deception wa Bobi Wine. The deception is Bobi Wine who provokes the government to react. When basically and his band of hooligans don't enter the city is peaceful. That's why I defend the police. When does the police become brutal?
When you have come to the city.
Yes. When the state is peaceful, when these band of hooligans don't enter Kampala, Kampala is peaceful. But when they come, it's a carrot and mice. Do you want the police to follow these hands? Where do we get training for riot police? And the Americans and the European allies should tell us that with what should be the role of riot police. They don't have riot police in their countries. At one time, was he Johnson or I think this is Johnson. Boris. He said, I stopped sort of calling in the military when they were destroying property. The Americans have always deployed their soldiers in troubled areas. The centuries. When a man Eden King was battered by policemen. Yes. Do they encourage destruction?
No.
What do they do to people who are climbing over White House? So they should tell us whether in their interest, where they can do the casualty. That when the Israeli police is confronting the Arab, the Palestinian youth, throwing stones, the casualty, they use rubber bullets. This is where the difference. But who trains the Israeli police? Are these wooden, the items that is used? Do we manufacture tear gas? No. Tear gas is produced from red paper, which is produced in Uganda and Ethiopia. The bitter ones. Yes. But is manufactured by who?
I don't know.
European companies.
I see.
So they should tell us if they had smart guys in the government, they would explain. But when you have a bad image already, you look what you examine the ambassador and high commissioners Museveni has made. He's getting himself off pressure. Every tribe comes, every person comes, everybody comes. No, teach these people how to manage their businesses, elementary commerce, elementary economics.
I see.
Give these people money. He's retiring soldiers. These soldiers will come back to Museveni. That's why at times Museveni hides himself from ministers. So, everybody who goes there has a daughter, has a son, has a loan in a bank, has what, and Museveni hides himself. So this is the reason that if they had smart guys, you talk to the American policy makers. We have a problem in Uganda. We have a problem in Africa. Some women batter men. Some women rape men. We have seen house girls defiling female kids, male kids. So this is a situation in Uganda that the government has failed to explain. That the Kabaka Yeka politics has received the center stage, is being applied by Bobi Wine. For instance, in Kayunga.
But Mzee, how do you propose Ugandans who are battered? How do you want them to express themselves?
It takes two to tango. The Baganda have a good proverb that when you are listening to a domestic quarrel between a married couple, you don't make a judgment before you listen to both sides.
Yes.
But what the Americans are doing is that they have learned from experiences. You create trouble, you trigger trouble in Egypt, then the Islamic Brotherhood takes power. You trigger trouble in Sudan, the radicals take power. You trigger trouble everywhere. This is why they are reviewing. They are reviewing. That Museveni has been the last one. They are reviewing. They are reforming the system in Uganda by uprooting and getting rid of the radicals that are fermenting trouble in Museveni's government. The generals, they know where the power is.
You're saying they're all generals.
People at the secretariat. You see, sanctions are applied to everybody in government who makes a decision.
Now, Mzee,
what is?
See what happened in Kayumba.
Yes.
Ballot stuffing. A lot of that.
I'm telling you.
How should people express
that's
themselves?
Not easy. The other day, I'll go ahead to petition an American court to recount. When they started recounting, then the figures were changing. And this man, Bill Gates, had to intervene. I will give you a job. You will go and become an anchor onto an American television. But if you expose, if you start counting, am I going to sell my computers to your mother? No. Bill Gates moved in. With his muscle, economic muscle. They stopped counting. Yes. Politics is politics. In America, at one time, an election almost led to America to civil war. We know this history. But these people don't have that history. And they panic because everybody wants to go to America. Everybody wants to go to America. Everybody wants to go to America. So the American, when they impose, you have property there, you have children there, and a travel ban means you cannot trade there. They will confiscate your goods. They will do what? So they are governing Uganda abroad. In fact, there is an obscene proverb in my language among the Baganda, but I can make it to appear decent. A Muganda will tell you that the problem of the private part originates from the buttocks. Many admire buttocks and they end up punishing the female private part. I see. Most of the problems that Africans have originate from Europe outside. The Chinese, the Americans are installing younger people, American trained people, influenced people to flush out the Chinese. These are the buttocks. I see. But Africa ends up being a female organ. Being punished. Being punished. For the desire. Slavery did not originate in Africa. We had the Basige in Rubiri. But working for another man in Africa was not easy, except in primitive societies. So, every problem we've got, COVID, we end up as a female organs. Africa ends up as a female organ, which suffers because a man has admired. In fact, in normal circumstances, when a man appears, the buttocks is swinging, the cabina swinging, then he runs very fast to see the face to overtake the woman, to see the type of face. But it is the cabina, the buttocks that swings, the bum that swings. They admire the back and the person to see the front. And the item that is punished is not the nika, is not the kikoi, is not the gomez. No. Something eaten somewhere there, but somebody has brought problems for it. That's why Muganda says. So, what I'm telling you is that NRM must change strategy. Where do we start? By changing a strategy. Let me open for my wife.